Yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Guy. I'll be back again with another preview of UFC's Fight Night. Burns versus Malott will be live this Sunday, 19th of April at 2 a.m. South African time from Canada Life Center, Winnipeg, Canada. Without further ado, guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're going to do a nice breakdown of this fight card. We're not going to do the entire fight card. I looked through it quite extensively, and I was thinking to myself, not a lot of fights on this fight card. I mean, it's a I think 5 or 6 fight main card, and I've only managed to really get invested in 4 of those fights. There are a couple of fights in the prelims I'll talk about as well. But yeah, not like super hyped for this fight card. But I was happy to see Gilbert Burns fight, and I do believe that this fight is actually going to be a good one for both guys. Not at stake for both Gilbert Burns and Mike Malott. I think for Burns, it's more like, I lose here, it's done. And for Mike Malott, if he loses here, what next, right? Because then you can't really beat the guy that's technically supposed to be retired at this stage. But okay, before I get into that, guys, again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We are going to start at the top of the card as always. Me bring it up on screen for you guys, and we'll get straight into it. Yeah, like I said, not the greatest, but there are some fights on this card which I think are going to be interesting to watch. Just a reminder to you guys, I am going to be doing a live watch along for this fight card, which will be at exactly 2 a.m. South Africa time. So I'm mainly going to catch you guys for that main card, actually. Okay, let's get into this main event. What can we talk about here? Because Mike Malott is the kind of fighter that for me, it's like, if he believes in himself, then he becomes like the world's best. But I think that's like his biggest battle from what I noticed in Mike Malott's career. His fights in the UFC, in fact, his fights throughout his entire career, I felt that he was always battling himself. You know, that what's that word people always use? Imposter syndrome. Not what it's called now, but he never really believed that he was that he fits in as the best of the best. And I think you can see it in his fights. You just look at his emotions after beating Kevin Holland as an example, right? And even before that, I think he's on a 3-fight streak. But I mean, before that 3-fight streak, you could see it in his eyes of like, do I belong? Do I still want to do this? You know what I mean? I think at 34, you can still fight. Right? Let's get through some stats, and then we will kind of break down some X's and O's in this fight. Gilbert Burns, as we know, one of the legends of the sport, has been around the block for quite some time. He's 39 years old, I think. Yeah, 39 years old. He's currently ranked number 11 in the welterweight division. His record stands at 22 wins, 9 losses, 0 no contest, 6 wins by KO, 9 wins by sub, 11 first-round finishes, and he has fought for the title before. He's on a 4-fight losing streak. But if we're being frank, those 4 losses were against the guys who were all in the top 5. So I'm not like, oh, how did he lose? I'm not gonna say, oh, he's washed, because he kind of, again, he lost against the guys that are incredibly intense, right? You've got he lost to Jack Taylor, he lost to Sean Brady, he lost to Michael Morales, he lost to Bilal Muhammad. 3 of them are in the top 5. Sean Brady is number 6 currently. So I don't want to put too much into those losses, because again, we always have to look at the context and nuances of each fight. You know, what's the background behind the fight? What was like going into it? Where you at in your career, kind of thing. Also, in some of those losses, Burns looked injured, and he was injured. Not to making excuses, it's just like he was at that stage. You know, older guy, body's not healing the same way, not lived up the same way. He's taking on guys that are fighting for titles. You know what I mean? Michael Morales, Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad. These guys are all fighting for championships. They are in the peak of their powers right now. So you don't really expect Burns to beat them. But in this fight here against Mike Malott, who is 34 years old, record is 13-2 and 1 draw, I think. 5 wins by KO, 6 wins by sub, 9 first-time finishes, 3-fight winning streak. It's like, you can't this is a fight where you can prove to yourself that you can still fight, and if you lose, you lose. It's fine. You're not losing against a guy that's how do I say? You're losing to a guy that's trying to get into that rankings, which is generally a really determined fighter, someone that doesn't really want to look at the concept of losing right now. But that's kind of what's happening here. Now, in terms of their skill sets, right? Who's got the advantage, who's got the disadvantages? I think for Mike Malott's advantages here is he's the younger fighter. Like he should have the bigger gas tank. I think he might be slightly taller than Gilbert Burns as well. Not mistaken, Burns was never really the biggest welterweight, 5'10" versus 6'1", so got those advantages there. I think the boxing they're fairly even, but I would say I'll give Gilbert Burns the sharper boxing. So overall striking, I think there's not that much difference between the two guys. I'll slightly edge it to Gilbert Burns as the more devastating striker. But at the same time, it's not necessarily about who's got the more power or the better accuracy, but it's about who uses their weapons better in there. In terms of grappling, I think it's not that close as it is in striking. Like Mike Malott's grappling is good. His jiu-jitsu is good, but it's not in the same pedigree as Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert Burns is quite far ahead when it comes to that part of the game in terms of jiu-jitsu and grappling. But again, it's how you do it in there. Of course, in this fight, Mike Malott can catch him. He'll be fired up. It's fighting in Canada, Winnipeg, I think it is, and that's obviously an area that he's quite familiar with. I think his younger brother plays for one of the teams in hockey. When it comes to ice hockey, or was it NHL? Yeah, NHL. So he's quite familiar with that. So he's obviously going to want to be fired up to fight technically in his hometown, right? His home ground advantage. So he's going to have to be fired up. I think beating Kevin Holland in the way that he did does breed a lot of confidence in somebody. But the thing is, for Gilbert Burns, it's like he's got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to gain. It's like the only thing he's really going to gain out of this win, if he wins this fight, is I prove to myself that I can still fight at 40 years old. Like that's actually what Gilbert Burns is fighting for here. I don't think he believes that he can go at a title run. If you watch the sort of the promo that UFC has released on YouTube, Gilbert Burns speaks about Michael Morales as one of the fighters where he was like, who is this guy? Why is he even in this division? Why is he so big? And that's a sign of somebody recognizing that I may not be able to close something back here. Like this is, if he's going to be in the top 5, this is going to be the kind of guy that's going to be there in the top 5, top 2, top 3 championship quality kind of fighters. And that's next generation, because he lost to all of them except for Ian Machado Gary. Is the only guy he didn't fight in the top 5. And obviously Islam Makhachev as the champion. He's probably realizing I can't compete with those guys anymore. They are at the peak of their powers. They're going to be fighting for championships for a while. What I'm going to be doing, if I'm going to continue fighting right now, I'm going to be welcoming guys like Mike Malott. It's like, let's see if you can crack the top 15. You beat me, you're in the top 15 kind of thing. That's like where Gilbert Burns is at right now. It's more about proving to himself that he can still be the athlete that he knows he is. And that's pretty much what this fight has for me in context here. And I look at that rather than looking at these guys' skill sets. So if I look at their skill sets, I'm going to favor Gilbert Burns all day, every day, right? I'm going to favor him all day, every day. I like Mike Malott, but I don't think he has the same pedigree as fighting when it comes to Gilbert Burns. He hasn't even tasted a fraction of what Gilbert Burns has got, what Gilbert Burns has faced in his career. Mike Malott's not even been close to that. And that's why I'm like, I favor Gilbert Burns there. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about where these guys are at right now, what they're fighting for right now, who's the healthiest, what can we win, what can't we win, all these things come together. And I think in this fight, I kind of lean towards Mike Malott as the more determined fighter here, because he has a lot more to gain and lose than these for Burns. For Mike Malott, if he beats Gilbert Burns, you beat a legend. Right? You basically get a number next to your name after this. I think Mike Malott will definitely be ranked in the top 15 if he beats Gilbert Burns. Right? So it pushes him further to his achievement that he wants to get, which is a championship, which I don't think he'll actually get. But at least he'll be able to beat a legend like Gilbert Burns if he does that. If he loses to Gilbert Burns, you lose to a guy that's basically on his way out. A 39-year-old guy that's going to be 40 this year. You're going to lose to someone that technically is basically hanging up them gloves very soon. So, and if you lose to Gilbert Burns, that basically lessens your chances even more to get to a ranked spot in the welterweight division. So there's a lot for Mike Malott in this fight. Some might even argue that he has more pressure on his hands, on his shoulders, than Gilbert Burns does, which means Gilbert Burns should be fighting this fight more relaxed. In terms of who I think is going to win, I'm going to edge it towards Gilbert Burns. I think on a 4-fight losing streak, and you're going to have to fight again, and you got the number 11 spot to defend. I think he doesn't want to go down another loss. And I think he also believes that if he goes on a 5-fight losing streak here, UFC might tell him, listen, we're going to have to consider looking at that contract, and they might even have to get you out of here. You know what I mean? And I don't think Gilbert Burns wants to go out like that. I think he wants to go out on his terms, like Cub Swanson just did. You know what I mean? So I think Gilbert Burns, not saying this is a retired fight for him, but I think losing this fight would put him at risk of the UFC retiring him rather than him retiring himself. If that makes sense. So I would go Gilbert Burns with the win, not only because of all those things I'm talking about now, but also if you want to bring back the skill set conversation, I think Gilbert Burns is the most skillful fighter here. He's got a better resume. He's got a better fight. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's multiple world champion in jiu-jitsu. Fought for the title against Kamaru Usman. Has competed against the top 5 almost every single fight he had in the UFC. He's been in there with the best of the best. He's seen so many different styles that I think will make Mike Malott look like will force him to retire. Let's put it that way. Right? Fought Wonderboy, fought Kamaru Usman, fought he fought Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady. He's fought against styles that Mike Malott, in my opinion, just won't be able to deal with. And it's not throwing shade on Mike Malott. I think Mike Malott is as good as he gets when it comes to what we saw against Kevin Holland. For me, that was the best Mike Malott will ever get. I'm not too sure if he gets better than that. I just don't see it. Because like even the fights that he wins and looks good at, he has to come through so much heavy adversity. You ask yourself, no, because when you look at fighters that are top 5, top 6, top 7, when they are in fights, and when they win fights, they really do you see these guys take damage or get hurt. They kind of like wipe the floor of their opponents, and as you look to yourself, oh shit, that's the elite kind of guys, you know. And Mike Malott, now look at his eyes and look at him when he's fighting. I see a solid, genuine man that's just such a kind soul, and I don't see the demon in him enough to hang with these savages in the top 5, top 10 of this welterweight division. I don't see it in his eye. I don't see that killer there. I see a man that's just too kind for the world. And I mean, he spoke about it himself. He even like low key took a sabbatical or fighting for 3 years. So it's like, and this is before he was even 30. So it's like, you know what I mean? Is his head really in the game to become a champion? You know what I mean? That's what I always feel like when I look at Mike Malott. I see a good fighter, but I don't see a world beater. And that's just what makes me always hesitant against someone like Gilbert Burns, who we all know is willing to die in there for a fight. So yeah, I'm gonna go Gilbert Burns on the money line. I'm still hesitant to even make a pick. To make bets this week. There's no one championship this weekend, and this fight card did not really spark a lot of confidence in me to actually put some money down on it. So I'll probably revisit it on Thursday. There may or may not be a betting man segment. I know I said that yesterday that we will do one. But now that I looked at this card properly, I'm like, I'm not too confident making any bets on this fight card. Unless I chat with DSPV a little bit later in the week and see where his head's at. But realistically for me, if I were to put money on this card, I'll probably go Gilbert Burns money line. Probably go Charles Jourdain money line. I'll probably go Jai Herbert, Mandal, Nello. Fight not to go the distance. And then I might just place a money line bet or single on Nascimento, who's fighting on the prelims as well. But we'll get into that conversation a little bit later. Let's keep it moving to the co-main event. Let's go. Okay, co-main event. We have Kyler Phillips taking on Charles A. Jourdain. And this is the bantamweight division. Interesting. I think it's going to be a fun fight. Kyler Phillips, 30 years old, so no longer considered to be the youth of the organization or of the division, because he should be hitting his prime at this stage. Kyler Phillips, 30 years old. His record overall is 12 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 5 wins by KO, 2 wins by sub, 5 first round finishes. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, and he lost to Vinicius Oliveira by unanimous decision in his last fight. Charles A. Jourdain is also 30 years old. His record is 17 wins, 8 losses, 1 no contest. He's got 8 wins by KO, 7 wins by sub, 6 first round finishes, 2-fight winning streak. And he beat my guy Davy Grant by first round sub in his last fight. Good win for him though, because I thought Davy Grant was going to be able to put some pace on him, but he got through Davy Grant fairly easily. So what do we have here? We have 2 sort of next gen fighters, but I think they passed that stage, because when we were talking about them being next gen, it was literally like 6, 7, 8 years ago almost. When we were talking about these guys, now they're 30. They should be at this stage of their careers, should be getting into that ranking spots now. I think Kyler Phillips was ranked at one stage in the bantamweight division. I'm not sure if he still is. Nope, it's out of the rankings. Charles Air Jordan, for me, has taken a long time to get to a ranking and still hasn't, which I think is weird because he's of the talented breed, but just never really been able to actually make himself get a solid run and climb the rankings. And whenever he's fought against some of the best guys, like at least a tough challenge, then he doesn't do well. Anyway, so skill set wise, I'm gonna go with Charles Jourdain. Like I just said earlier, I think reason being, although I like Kyler Phillips, I don't know what he's like great at. Overall fighter, he's good. Like he's got good cardio, he's got good scrambles. His wrestling is okay. It's competent enough to keep him safe, but not really enough to make him be like elite. His striking looks good. It's polished, but it's not like devastating where you need to fear something out of it. Like, okay, this man's kickboxing. He's on a super high level. You need to watch it for that. You know, the 2-1-2 down the pipe, and then into extension of a left high kick or a switch kick or a nice deep kick. It'll fuck you up, or a calf kick. It'll make you, that will dilapidate you. He doesn't have something that stands out and you go, oh my word, this guy is super intense. Right? He's just a jack of all trades, but nothing masterful out of him. And then you got Charles Jourdain, who is another fighter that he's like a roller coaster. There's fights where he looks supreme, like fast, pacey, intense, sort of taekwondo-esque kickboxing nature combination kind of striking, right? Beautiful display of knees, elbows, spinning attacks. Like he just looks like he has good technique with a lot of his striking. But then his jiu-jitsu is like he's not like a superior wrestler, but he's got sneaky submissions. He can put you out when you take him down. He looks for subs. And his point of view is like he's always attack. Whenever he's fighting with you, whether he's standing or grappling, also then he's looking to attack every time, not really trying to defend much. Which is why it's like he either gets really good wins or he gets beaten up really, really badly, right? And that's what Charles Jourdain is all about. And because of that, I think I give the edge to him. Because Kyler Phillips, for me, I can't bet on something when it comes to him. I can bet that he's going to knock this guy out. I can bet that Kyler Phillips is going to out wrestle this guy. I can bet that he's going to tap that motherfucker out. You just can't. Kyler Phillips doesn't give you that. He just gives you a guy he's the kind of fighter for me he'll be a great student because he'll absorb all your information, right? But when he has to execute that information for you, you're going to get an average student. He's not going to be a straight A guy. He's going to dip here and there, but he will try his best to get it all right. And that's what all you can ask for from somebody that's going to take up anything, right? Is for them to give you their best. And that's Kyler Phillips for you. He's always going to give you 110 in anything he's going to do. But it doesn't mean that 110 is going to be elite status kind of performances. That's what I think about Kyler Phillips. And every time I see him fight, he's just this dude that looks good, looks competent, but doesn't look, again, like a world beater. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that, for me, I can say, he's gonna be a world champion. He's gonna be a top contender. I just don't see it. I see that more in Peyton Talbot rather than I see it in Kyler Phillips. You know what I mean? That's a little bit different there. So in this fight, when you got two guys that are slightly above average, I have to go with the guy who was a little bit more above average than the other one. I think Charles Jourdain for me is slightly higher than what Kyler Phillips is. Just slightly, even so slight. He's fought better competition as well. But look at Kyler Phillips, right? Let's go through this man's list of like fights. Right? Loses to to Vinicius Oliveira. He loses to Rob Font. Right? Rob Font is also of the guys that are approaching 40. Right? Right? He beats Pedro Munoz. Cool, fair game. Pedro Munoz is a very good fighter. Don't know why this is taking so long for this thing to load like this. It's so upsetting. Sometimes the UFC website really doesn't load anything for me, and I hate that. But anyway, I wanted to go through his list with you guys, together with you guys to show you what I was referring to. I'm gonna close that. Right, there we go. Right, beats Borsellos. Right, beats Rojo. But look at these names. Like none of these guys are standout guys. None of these guys. Then when he fights against like names that are currently ranked, loses to Song Yadong. At the time, Song wasn't even fucking ranked. Loses to Song Yadong. You get what I'm saying? Like Kyler Phillips hasn't really gone through some talented fighters where it like forces him to be a better guy. And the sheer fact that Charles Jourdain has competed with the likes of Davy Grant. Okay, he's an older man, but we get that. Look here, against John Silver. He's fighting against guys that Ramos that has been around the block. Look there, Nathaniel Wood. It's against Burgos. It's against guys that are talented. Vanata, he's not fighting against a bunch of randos. Right? It's guys that has been there, done that, and not so much champions, but guys that are super high level. Right? He's competed against a lot more talented, rich list of fighters. Surely he's been the guy that's gonna get that should be able to have a better skill set here because of fighting against all those names. And also, if you think about their base level, I think Charles Jones' base is just slightly better already. So that's why I've got Charles Jourdain on the win here for the money line. If he finishes him, well done. If he doesn't, it's fine. I think overall, it's hard for me to see around Kyler Phillips gets him. I just can't see it. So I've got Charles Jourdain on the money line there as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. We'll keep it moving to the next part in the fight part. Okay, I think this fight's gonna be for the fans, in my opinion. Right? We got Mandal Nallo taking on Jai Herbert. Now, before, like, if you know, Mandal has fought Bellator. He's fought in the Dynamite's Contender Series. I only really recently watched this man fight, like literally a few hours ago. I took a watch tape on him because I've never seen him before. I'm not a guy who consumed Bellator. To be honest with you guys, I've always just watched like 3 fights on YouTube when it comes to Bellator. So that's what I did with Mandal. And Jai Herbert, I've seen a lot of times. I've watched his debut. I've seen this guy fight a few times as well. They are the same age, both 36 years old. Mandal's got a record of 14 wins, 3 losses. Contest, 8 wins by KO, 6 wins by sub, 12 first round finishes. And that fight on Dynamite's Contender Series, he won that fight via first round TKO. Jai Herbert, on the other hand, record is 13 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest. He's got 9 wins by KO, 1 win by sub, 4 first round finishes. He lost to Chris Padilla. Split decision. How do you lose to Padilla, bro? That man just gets throws and split decision wins the whole time. Jai Herbert's another guy like Kyler Phillips. It's like an up and down situation. There's game fights where he looks fabulous, and then there's fights where he just doesn't. And the thing about Jai Herbert is I can't think of a single fight where he doesn't get cracked. I just can't. Like, every fight I've watched Jai Herbert in before, he pull up. Even if the ones that he wins, he's getting cracked and he's getting fucked up. And I'm like, dude, how come this man is so hittable? I don't understand it. That Mondello seems to have not as much of a high fighting rate as Jai Herbert, but he seems to have the more precise shot. They both got knockout power. They both got that one punch or that one kick kind of specialty where they can put you out with it. And that's why I think this fight, for me, safe money would be a fight not to go the distance. Who wins? I don't know. Don't really give that much into it. But what I think is an option that's viable for me in this fight is someone's going down. The reason for that is because that's how they fight. Both guys seem to go hard. Mandal does have the wrestling for me, so that's a big pedigree for me. That's a big plus for me, putting him as a favorite here. I think that if he doesn't get the knockout with the hands, he surely can wrestle. But isn't really a grappler by nature, even though he's got a sub. It's still not what he does. It's not his vibe. He doesn't like that game. It tires him out very, very quickly if he does that. I think that's when Mandal gets the advantage here. As of striking, I think Jai Herbert's got good kickboxing. He's got decent high kicks with him, which is what he loves to throw most of the time. But I think outside of that, I'd give Mandal every other advantage. Boxing is fairly even. Jai Herbert's boxing is good, but I think Mandal's boxing is sharper. Both guys I think Mandal's guard's a little bit better in terms of how he defends. Jai Herbert's guard is a little bit loose, and you can tag him a little bit easier. Like when you hit him, you can go right through his guard. He'll do this, but he'll just go right through his guard. He'll come from the side, and he'll put his hands up, but he will still crack him from the side. Not like he doesn't just Jai Herbert, from what I know to Jai Herbert when he's fighting, he'll put his hands there, but he'll just put his hands there and he'll brace the shot. He won't put his hands there and he won't move with you. He won't move with you. He'll just take it and look to counter. And I don't like that. I think that's something he needs to sort of work on, in my opinion. Like move the head, move the hips, get that shoulders work with you. And Mandal, for me, like I said, he's just got a little bit more precision to him than Jai Herbert. He can pick that kill switch. I like that. He knows when to find it. So I got this fight to go. I have not go the distance. And if I must choose a winner, I'll probably go Mandal. But I feel more confident in choosing this fight not to go the distance instead. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions, guys. Let's keep this one moving to the next bout on the fight card. Let's go. All right, up next we have the women's flyweight division. Now, this fight has got some good implications because both these women are ranked. We got Jasmine Jasudavicius taking on Karine Silva. Jasmine, I thought she was so much younger than this because she appears to be like very young, but she's not. She's 37 years old, which is still young, but it's not like prime age for championship. Like it's not the age you want to be at when you climb in for a title shot. You kind of want to be a little bit younger than that. Um, she's currently ranked number 7 in the women's flyweight division. Her record is 14 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. She's got 2 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub, 3 first round finishes. She lost to Manon Fiorot by first round KO in her last fight. Karine Silva is 32 years old. Now, that's still her age that can compete for titles, but I don't know if she will get there. She's currently ranked number 9 in the women's flyweight division. Her record is 19 wins, 6 losses, 0 no contest, 9 wins by KO, 8 wins by sub, 13 first round finishes. She lost to Macy Barber by unanimous decision in her last fight. And that's a big, big loss for me because that is the kind of style that Jasmine Jasudavicius has. It's this energizer bunny battery kind of fighter that just doesn't seem to get tired and they just keep going. And every time they get closer to the next round, they just keep revving up that pace. And Karine Silva, in every single fight of hers in the UFC, she gets so fucking tired after the first round. It's like, why do you even fight? Why do you even fight? What's going on here? Such a common problem for these Brazilian fighters, and particularly with the Brazilian fighters in the women's division. We see a lot in the men's division as well, but I noticed a lot in the women's division as well. There seems to be this big tendency. I'm not shitting on Brazilian fighters. I love the country of Brazil. Or some of my mates, I got mates out there in Brazil as well. It's a country that myself and Jedi, we just love the Brazilian people and the nature and the culture of that country. It's because it feels very similar to where we are here in Cape Town, South Africa. It's a very, very similar vibe and culture. Right? Not a lot of differences outside of the language. But there's a pattern I noticed for a long time of watching UFC, watching combat sports, period. Right? Brazilian fighters tend to really gas out badly in MMA. They gas out badly. I don't understand it. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like they only have one round in them. You know what I mean? It's not like not everybody can do what like your June Silvers, your Jose Aldos, Gilbert Burns, and so on and so on. This goes on your Anderson Silvers of the world, and there's a lot of legendary Brazilian fighters that got it right. There's a lot of them that got it wrong. Right? Charles do Bronco, them, not every they got it right. Excuse me, but not a lot of them. The ones who got it right becomes very elite. The ones outside of that, there's like you get these average guys that perform really well, but they're not really like pinnacle. Karine Silva is so talented, right? She's powerful. In my opinion, she's a little bit like I don't say thick, but she's pretty jacked for the division. So that's probably why she keeps struggling to make the weight. I mean, Jasmine's bigger than her. Jasmine never has issues making this weight. Never. Right? Karine Silva, if she can just make weight and be healthy, she's a very good fighter. Hard to take down, very good kickboxing, good striker, very aggressive going forward. Not very aggressive, but when she goes forward, she puts some really damaging shots on her opponents. But slow firing rate, moves actually stuck in mud every time I watch her fight. So it's like it's hard to get behind her. It's hard to get behind her, especially because there's so much hype around her, right? If you look at the fighters she lost to, right? She lost to Macy Barber. She lost to Arujo. Both of them are like Macy Barber, which is like it's this relentless nature. They're not gonna KO you with an overhand of some nature. They're not gonna tip kick you and then you can't breathe. They're not gonna do that kind of stuff. What they're gonna do on you is they're gonna overwhelm you with a lot of volume, a lot of grappling, a lot of clinching up against the cage. It's gonna be a lot of that. So what that means is that there's never gonna be a moment in the fight where you can just rest and hold, throw a punch to the body and hold and hold and hold. And then now we break and now we can go. Jasmine does not give opponents that, right? And if you're not knocking Jasmine out, she's gonna wrestle you. She's gonna make it an ugly fight, and you're gonna get tired against her. And that's why I'm fearful for Karine Silva in this fight. I'll probably go Jasmine Jasudavicius. Who else did she lose to? Right? If she wins by sub. Great start to the UFC. All these girls are half her size. Great start to the UFC, but then it starts getting very sticky, which is taking on grapplers. Like when she starts taking on not just grapplers, but grapplers that can go and chain things together and stay on you like the whole time. They don't take breaks. I think that's where Karin Silva's gonna have a nightmare here. Of course, she can catch Jasmine. Right? Jasmine can get caught on the entry. There can be a knee up the middle. You know, Karin Silva can throw a high kick. She can catch Jasmine with a lot of things. She can counter her with a lot of different weapons. But I'm just not confident in someone like Karin Silva who, to be quite frank, once you get past the first round with her, you basically beat her. She's not going to do anything to you after that. She's not going to find the killer shot. Her biggest fight after the first round is fighting her own gas tank and her own mind to stay in the fight. Jasmine don't have to fight stuff like that. She's just gonna go in there and does what Jasmine does. High pressure, high volume, lots of feints, taking you down, just making this fight grueling. And I think that's the kind of nature of the fight that Karin hates. That's the kind of fight that Jasmine brings. That's why I got Jasmine on the money line there as well. Let's go, Jasmine. Just do vicious. You guys can let me know in the comment section who gets the job done there. We can talk about some other fights on this fight card. I'm gonna quickly make my screen a little bit different so you guys can see with me. Thiago Moises versus George Young. I don't have any investment in that one. Thiago Moises, I want to go on him, but he always seems to upset the person. He's always losing. So I can't go with someone who just can't seem to get a win. I don't know anything about these two guys, Dennis Bazukcha and Marcio Barboza. Not familiar. I know Rob Valentin. I watched his Ultimate Fight this season. He actually won it. But I don't know anything about Julian LeBlanc. And every time I want to go with Robert Valentin, if you're being quite frank, he hasn't seemed to get himself going in the UFC just yet after winning that Ultimate Fight this season. He's a very talented guy, but I don't know why he just can't seem to get his win. Tanner Bossa and Gokhan Sarikam. I don't know anything about Gokhan. I just like his name. And I think this fight could probably have not go the distance. I think that will be a good one to pick for not go the distance. Melissa Kroden versus Daria Zelensniakova. Could be value there on Melissa getting a KO. A big woman. Melissa's a very big woman for bantamweight. I think she could get a finish there. And then here's the fight I was mainly talking about. Mitch Raposo versus Alan Nascimento. Now, I'm happy to go with Nascimento here. I think Raposo is not a bad fighter, but doesn't have the sort of the killer instinct and the prowess of Nascimento. Nascimento is high-level jiu-jitsu, powerful boxing, good pressure, keeps his guard up high. He's walking forward, doesn't take a lot of shots, he cracks hard, and that's why I got Nascimento for the win there. So I'm happy to put him on a parlay, which is probably what I'm going to do in the betting man segment. It's going to be a very short one, guys. Might not even do that episode live because it's going to be so short. It's only one card. I might even just release that episode as a premiere on Thursday. JJ Aldridge, happy to see her back. It's been a long time seeing her fight. I know she's got a good win last year. Not too familiar with Jamie Lynn North, but I'm happy to go with JJ Aldridge as well for a win there. Not going to put anything on the parlay, no money on that one. But that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have got anything else about this fight card, let me know in the comment section. Let me know your picks. Give me your thoughts. Who you think I should go with. And if I got anything wrong, you guys know where the comment section is. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, everybody. What else can you expect for the remainder of this week? Today is Wednesday, so we've got the UFC coming out. Tomorrow is Thursday, so I'm going to be doing, if I was a betting man segment, that's going to be going out at 9 p.m. South African time. It won't be live. I'm going to release it as a premiere. And then Friday, as you guys know, there's no one championship this weekend, so there's no Friday fights for us on Friday. However, on Friday, we do have something working on the pipelines. I can't tell you exactly what it is right now. It's a little bit, I have to keep it quiet at the moment. But what I will say is myself and Adrian are working on something for this Friday. Keep a look on it. Hopefully we get that sorted out today. And then I can release the information for you guys to check out for Friday. And then on Sunday morning at 2 a.m. South African time, we're going to be going live to have a watch along for this UFC fight card, Burns versus Malott. Literally, I'm going to be doing live for that main card. So I hope to see you guys there. From myself and the Fighting with Friends team, you guys must have a fantastic day, morning, even wherever you're watching from. And I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Much.